Welcome to the Creative Entrepreneur Show. I am your host, Bryon Scott, and we are typically two creative guys talking AI, but today it's just going to be me. Rosh is, from the pictures I've gotten with his amazing cowboy hat, he is out enjoying the trails of a national park somewhere, which is wonderful. Enjoy the beautiful summer. So yeah, not quite enough service to join me for the show today, but he will still do some editing later today. That being said, today I want to talk about a few different things. And since my co-host isn't here, it actually gives me an opportunity to talk about him a little bit. So I know when he's editing this, he might be blushing a little, but all praise well deserved. I also want to deep dive a bit into a project I've been working on for my band where I've been going full out AI, all sorts of different directions, to be able to create some really cool imagery and lyric videos and stuff. And then lastly, I'm going to be taking over as the VP of my BNI group. So I know Rosh and we've met because of people we know in BNI. It's the business networking group of our choice that we always suggest to creative entrepreneurs. So I've been a part of this group for, geez, 7, 8 years now. And it's time to give back a bit and be the VP. And I'm really excited to bring some of the AI benefits of the different things that we've been learning together here on this show and try to bring that to the BNI group. So I want to just give some advice to people if they're leading an organization like BNI or something, some of the different ways you can use AI. But all right, so yeah, to get into it, my partner Rosh. So I know you a lot of people listening to the show maybe have been longtime listeners of Rosh. Truth be told, this podcast, it's not just me and him happening this year. It's actually something that's been happening for well over a decade now, and it's taken multiple forms. But originally, Rosh started this podcast because he was a pretty big, I say was, but is a pretty big deal in the world of professional photography, food photography in particular. And Rosh is somebody whom I've got a lot of respect for, and is elite in his field, but has always kept an eye on technology. And you want to rewind back a little bit. He had some big shoes to fill. Actually, he is the son of a very famous Detroit area meteorologist by the name of Rosh Sillars, who, as Rosh has informed me, is still alive. He's out in Colorado. And if you Google him, you'll actually see he did a little speaking event back in 2023. So he's still out there doing his thing. But really, Rosh with some big shoes to fill always speaks very highly of his father and, way he saw him in the public eye growing up. So it's something that he felt naturally, the proclivity to go and start this show. And he's somebody whom I've learned so much from and somebody I've gained a lot of respect for because I notice he is just always learning. As much as I feel like I'm doing research and bringing different things to this show, he is always bringing the latest and greatest technology and giving us his really good insights on that. Um, so he's just somebody that, he's brought me under his wing, and I really respect him for that. So, how did this all start? Well, I first met Rosh. We shared a mutual client. We still share that client, and we've been working together on this client for about 5 or 6 years. Robert Bowers, the owner of Goofy Faces, he's been a host or a guest on our show before. And he's pretty much stated, and I'm gonna brag this a little bit, but that Rosh and I together are one of the greatest one-two punches for marketing. On the social media side, I get the people to the website, and then Rosh closes the deal. And so I met Rosh through Goofy Faces, and we worked together for years, just in our monthly meetings with Goofy Faces, and we were able to see what we were both capable of. Fast forward now to November of 22, which we all know is when ChatGPT was released to the world and kind of everything changed. And I remember getting an email from Rosh to myself and to Robert and Goofy Faces saying, "Hey, have you guys heard of this brand new thing, ChatGPT? Let's have a meeting and talk about this." And I was pretty embarrassed when the meeting got going because I hadn't even heard of it yet. And of course, something that just came out and Rosh is already fully engrossed in it, knows what's going on with it. And, we're in this meeting. First of all, I thought, what a terrible name for a program. This guy can't even get it right half the time, which we joke about. And that's our running joke in the show. But, they'll get there when it comes to the naming of it. But just getting past that, Oh my gosh, this thing has so much capability, and it really threw me for a loop after that meeting. And I obviously signed up for it right away, and just thought, wow, this is something that could be bigger than electricity. It could be bigger than a motorized car. It could be bigger than all these things because of its capability to think and be only limited by your ability to ask certain questions. So I'm so thankful that Rosh helped me become an early adapter. It might be something that early adapter, however you want to say it. But it might be something that maybe I wouldn't have gotten into until somebody like me forced them into it, because you can't stop talking about this technology. So, I'm really, really just thankful for that. And, after that meeting in November of 22, it led to, some more interactions with Rosh and I, outside of just this client. Had a couple really good meetings. And then that's when, fast forward to last summer. So, July of 23, he says, "Hey, Bryon, I've had this podcast going for years, and every time I get it started it stops again, and I just would really like to have you on board with me to help keep this thing, keep it growing some legs, and have a good back and forth, so it wasn't just him having to rant on, which I'm learning right now just how difficult that can be." um he did this show himself for years, so I have a lot of respect for that. And just I'm very thankful. So Rosh, as you're editing this and you're seeing this, I'm just thankful for you taking me under your wing. And it's just really allowed me to grow on the creative side. It's helped me grow my business that I run with my wife here, Great Scott Social Media, and it's just allowed us to be more efficient. So yeah, and with that thankfulness and that gratitude, that's why I without a doubt said yes to joining him on this show, because I also want to take this knowledge now that I've helped learn and gain with him, and help get it out to the creative entrepreneurs, to the people who could really benefit from this. So that being said, I want to take this time that I have here, where I've got to hold down the whole show, and really deep dive into a project I've been working on, and show my full-on workflow of how I've gone from the idea to ChatGPT, to using the Dolly integration in ChatGPT, to then using the video app that Rosh suggested a few months ago, Runway, and then taking it the last step to a video editing program. So this is a call out to the people listening to us in the car, different things. We do have a YouTube channel, and the YouTube show today is going to be a bit more interesting, because I will be screen sharing and showing some of the actual results that I've gotten from this workflow. Past that, though, I will do my best to describe it through my voice, exactly what we're seeing and how I was able to do this. So first step here is I'm going to start with the problem. The problem was I've got a band, and I want to be able to show us off in a different way, whether it be through social media, whether it be through our website, or the final step of this is a actual live performance. Now, these days, many bands that you see that are of, a higher level that you might see at, Pine Knob, or, one of those bigger, outdoor places, or an inside, like a stadium, they will always have videos that are running concurrently with their music. And I'm in no way in a band of that level, but how can the creative, motivated person like me be able to get a product that is almost to that level, and not have to hire a crew of people and video editors and spend hundreds, if not thousands of dollars to be able to produce something that's, pretty darn cool? And I have really, in the last couple of weeks, especially since Rosh suggested Runway, really run with this concept and created lyric videos for two of the songs now that we're going to be playing when my band performs in October. And, I'm actually going to be able to have a computer running and a docking station, and be able to actually have two or three monitors for us in the band, and then actually a projector going to a screen behind us that will actually play these videos. So rather than just having, downloaded stock video and just making things work and having it be kind of awkward, or just having images where you zoom in slowly or different things like that, I said, all right, I'm going to try to make some images that are really, really specific to the song that we're creating, the mood that this song is creating. And then I want to see what Runway can do to try to animate these images and make it look like they're legit clips that are very, very specific to the song. And I think I was able to do just that. So I'm going to actually screen share here and dive into my workflow about how to do this. And while I do screen share this, and this will be up on the YouTube video, and of course, please check us out on YouTube, The Creative Entrepreneur Show. I'm gonna, do my best to describe it out loud as well. So, all right, step one here, while I have this screen shared, is I've got my typical Chat GPT screen going on, and I set the table. I said, all right, I'm going to be creating a series of images for background imagery from my band's live performance. I'm going to be using an app like Runway to animate them, but I'm going to start with Dolly for the initial image. I told him a bit about my band. I said some of the stuff that we talk about, some of the imagery that we're going for. I then stated the exact size I wanted these images to be, a 16:9 ratio, because I wanted to start wide and then I can work my way skinny and vertical. I then also said that, hey, I want these different types of colors to be used the most. And then here's our logo for our band as a reference. Um, and, the opening scene, I like it, to be things of imagery of different things that are, in the dream type world, or imagery that's, stars and space and sky. So I kind of set the table for that. And then I did one song, but now a little further down is really where I thought it started to get interesting. This was like, all right, you did the first song great. Now I'm moving into another song called Slowly Disappear. And in this song, there's a very specific lyric in the chorus that says, um, reflecting like a rear view mirror. So I thought it would be great that if this whole video can be told through a series of rear view mirror images. And it really understood this pretty well on the Chat GPT side. So here's one of the first images that I was like, hey, I want it to be a classic car and cool. This looks like an old Mustang with those gauges. And you see in the rear view mirror, the character is kind of sinister. I was like, all right, yeah, that's cool. But you know what? I wanted to dive a little further into the mirror and make the image a little more distorted. And this one was good, but it was okay. These gauges look a little funny here, and some of these things are all right. And I said, all right, I want it a little further and continue with the distortion. And it created this amazing image here where you could see your old school Mustang, kind of gauges and old school steering wheel. It looks like an old hood from a classic muscle car. But the rear view mirror takes up about, I'd say, 40% of the screen here. And it is this amazing looking character that is exactly what I was looking for. And I said, all right, perfect. I really like this. I said, all right, keep this feel. Now let's start incorporating some themes from the lyrics. So, all right, cool. I've got my base image. All right, the first lyric is yellow sun will set when day is done. And amazing. That same kind of mirror taking up the whole screen, it gave me this dark scene, but with a bright yellow sun. I'm like, okay, perfect. Now is we're cooking with gas. I've got what I want here. I said, all right, this is great. Here are the next lyrics. Clouds of gray shall wash away today. Oh man, this is again, Dolly is firing on all cylinders. This one is perfect. So great. I complimented it. Said, all right, here's the next one. Skies of blue that lead me back to you. Another one, absolutely looking great with its, background all kind of washed and distorted, a little bit psychedelic. And then we've got the last one, grass so green will wake me from this dream. And this one I thought missed the mark. I didn't really like it. It didn't show a car driving. It just showed grass and green, and it was actually a little too happy. So I said, redo this one, but make it seem a bit darker and ominous. And then it's darker and ominous, but it lost its idea of having a rear view mirror. So I said, keep the rear view mirror theme, and then boom, we got it perfectly. All right. So now I've got really good workflow here for 4 images for a verse. All right. So next step, I'm going to fast forward on over to Runway, which is this is where you can actually take an image, give it a prompt. So here's that first image I told you about where it's that classic car, really distorted character in the rearview mirror. And I said, all right, animate the figure in the rearview mirror and have it turn its head towards the camera. All right. So I'm going to press play and it makes it look like it's a first person perspective. And this head is now turning and it's forming a little more sinister look. And my gosh, this is just perfect for what I was looking for. So immediately said, thank you, downloaded this, and I'm going to use it right away. And I'll show you the last step here in a second. But all right, fast forward to the next one where we have the sun and all I said was animate it as though the car was driving. And I pressed play. And oh my gosh, how cool. You can see the background and then you can see it looks like the car driving, but then the rear view mirror is animated in kind of the same way. So now we're really doing great. And then same exact thing here with the clouds of gray, animated as though the car was driving. Next one here with the skies of blue, again, animated as though the car was driving. And last one here with the green of the grass so green, animate as though the car was driving. Now this one was different. It went backwards, but you know, it's still kind of that dream world feel. So I'm like, I'm getting really, really happy with all of these results. So then I'm going to show you once I downloaded all of these, I then went to my final step, which is my video editing program. So show you kind of what that all turned into here. So there's one last bit of AI being used in this program. And the program I use for video editing here is called Wondershare. And it's really cool. It's got all sorts of effects and transitions and fun things. But where my mouse is right here and it says psychedelic glitch, this is actually another AI thing where it's actually detecting the video and adding certain flourishes and stuff on spots on the video to make it look cool. But I'm going to press play here real quick, turn down the volume so hopefully I don't blow anyone out. But just to show exactly, you know, how I'm using these figures. Yeah. So we put the lyrics over it, and boom, we have ourselves an animated lyric video for my band that we can use. We can use this when we're performing. We can use this when we are sharing stuff on Instagram or turn this into reels, different things like that. So this is a way where I used multiple AI programs and was able to, you know, create what I thought was a pretty cool piece of art. Altogether, I did end up having to spend a little more on the runway program because, you know, not every bit that it exported was great. So I had some different challenges that I had to work through. But I think, you know, I ended up spending about $15 total on this and was able to get myself, you know, where I needed to be. So yeah, very, very happy with how that worked out. And hopefully, you know, that helps anyone that's watching and, you know, pop on over to the YouTube channel to be able to watch that to greater detail. And you know, if you're in the Detroit area and you're interested in seeing this, we are playing in the Lager House on October 5th. We'll be playing about 9 p.m. and I'll have these videos running behind us while we're playing. So yeah, very cool there. One last topic I did want to cover today on today's show that I realized I was using AI in a different way this week. So as I alluded to earlier in the show, I'm part of a BNI group, and you know, this BNI group is pretty big. We're actually the largest one in Michigan. We've got a little over 70 members. And being the vice president of these groups is actually one of the ones with the largest amount of responsibility. And I had a meeting on Friday with the outgoing vice president, and he started to show me, you know, the different things that he was required to do. And I kept looking at every one of the tasks that he was doing and thinking, wow, I could program an AI to maybe do this a little bit easier. Or how can I use AI to help the group more in delivering maybe a report that's more efficient? Or maybe discovering any underperforming members of the group in certain areas and then actually hooking them up with overachievers in certain areas and helping be a leader to the group, but using AI to discover these trends. So these are some of the ways that I plan on using it. You know, just to be able to make the group run more efficiently and also, you know, to show off to the group, you know, that these technologies are available and that they are ways that you can implement these new things to be able to run your business more efficiently. So whether you're leading an organization or you've got, you know, a small group of creatives that you're, you know, doing different things with, the ways that you can use this technology to help organize and run a group more efficiently is another opportunity for using this great technology. So without Rosh being here, that's all I've got for today. I really, really appreciate anyone who's still listening to me rant on at this point. I promise you, Rosh will be back next week. But until then, please, you know, pop on over to our website. We are at creativeentrepreneurshow.com, and you can check out all the ways to be able to listen to the show, whether it's Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Music. You know, we're on all the different popular channels. We're really pushing the YouTube channel lately because we're trying to show some more interactive projects like today. Also, we're trying to share different clips and highlights of the show on our Facebook page. So if pop over to Facebook and just type Creative Entrepreneur Show and look for our new updated logo there. But until then, I'm Bryon Scott signing off. We are the Creative Entrepreneur Show, two creative guys talking AI. Thank you.